And welcome back to Adelante Chicago, 30 years of the Chicago Latino Film Festival. We've been talking about it all show. Carlos Jimenez, he is the director of a film called My Princess. Also, Alonso Alcaraz is sitting down with us. He is directing a comedy during this year's film festival. Thank you for coming in, guys.
Thank you for having us.
It's always interesting to talk to you guys because you're really the people behind the scenes. You're the ones who we go to watch, and you produce such wonderful movies, really, in all of this. So I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's begin with you. You did a movie called My Princess, My Princesa. I want to take a look at some of the video before we move on.
Okay.
So let's do that. So there you see it. This was shot in Puerto Rico, is that right,
Yes.
Carlos?
About 80% of the movie was shot in Puerto Rico.
And tell me the premise behind it. What's the story?
The story is it's a romance drama about a young man who goes from Chicago back to Puerto Rico to reconnect with his father. And once he gets to Puerto Rico, not only does he find family, but in his journey he also finds culture, he finds community, he finds love, and ultimately he finds himself.
And I see the movie is done in black and white.
Yes.
What's the reason behind that?
It's an artistic choice. I've always wanted to do a black and white movie. I grew up watching some black and white stuff. I'm a fan of Alfred Hitchcock and all of that stuff, and the Three Stooges too. And that was black and
Aren't we
white.
all, right?
But I really wanted to do something in black and white, and I saw that this would be a great opportunity to see the island also plays a character, and to see the beauty of Puerto Rico in black and white. It was just phenomenal.
Okay, and if I'm remembering correctly, this is now your 8th film that you've put together for the film festival, or for film festivals altogether.
It's my 8th film. This is the first time that I'm in the Chicago Latino Film Festival, which to me, I mean, I'm super excited because this is my hometown. And so to have a film for the first time, my other films have been in festivals from coast to coast and even in other parts of the world. But to have a film in your hometown and your family and friends can come and watch it, I'm overexcited.
Look at you, you're beaming. Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to keep you here because we'll keep talking about it, but I want to bring Alonso in to tell us about your movie, and I think we do have a clip of this one, so let's roll it and then we talk about it. So let's take a look at those pictures. And is this just while you were filming the movie?
Yeah, this is a production still.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's called Albert, and what you told me is that it's a raunchy comedy.
It's a raunchy comedy.
What does that mean, Al?
That means that it's for grown folks, and it's for people that have a good sense of humor about life, and I think that's the main thing is that it's over the top. But it's about relationships, and at the end of the day, the main character, it's his journey from getting out of a relationship to figuring out whether he wants to be in a relationship, but ultimately figuring out what his relationship is with himself.
Okay.
So.
How did you get into doing this? Because you're also a local comedian.
Yes, I do. I started off as a sketch comedian. I went to Second City, and I've done shows all over the city. I've done Sketch Fest, and that was where I started, and that was really my beginning in terms of writing. I wrote a lot of sketch, and I wrote a lot of comedy. And so once I had an agent, I was doing a little bit more on-camera work, and I'm a very nosy person, so when I was
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I was on set and I would peek behind the camera like, oh, what is this guy up to? What is this guy doing? And so that sort of led me into being involved in productions and doing, short film projects, and then ultimately taking what I learned and creating my own content. And that's been the main drive for me. As a Latino, to create your own content, it's invaluable. I think this is a very important time for us as Latinos to be able to tell unique and different stories. And I felt like there's not a lot of Latinos that do these types of comedies, and
Sure.
I figured, you know what, this is a good market. This is what I like to watch. This is what I like to tap into. Why not make something? It's a first of couple of short films too that in the same subject matter.
It's fun. Okay, well, you know what? One of the interesting things that I find when I have directors and producers come in of short films is just what it takes to put one of these together, because people see the end product and they don't realize everything that goes into it, that it costs money to do this. So I'm wondering how you go about putting that together and how long it takes you to produce something like this. And I'll start with you, Carlos.
Okay, that is that's the most difficult part of filmmaking, is raising the money. And so securing financing has been the greatest challenge. I think that once you have the idea, once you have the story, you have your crew in place, you do the casting, but if you don't have the money, you can't shoot
you can't
anything.
do it.
So that has been the greatest challenge, is finding investors.
Yeah. What about for you, Alonso?
I've taken a very grassroots approach to my filmmaking, and it requires a lot of having a plan, first of all, because if you're going to ask anybody to do a favor for you, they have to know exactly what they're getting into. And I feel really blessed, although I've written, directed, and produced my films, that I have a lot of collaborators, from the actors that I choose that have been able to refine my script, to anybody that gets involved from a technical aspect. I have an amazing sound person that's been with me in several different projects, and I feel like having those types of relationships and having them provide their services and do so really with very minimal compensation,
Yeah.
but just to know that they're involved in a great project, to me it's tough, because you have to be a people person, you have to be able to talk to people, you have to be able to communicate. And I think that the skill set that people like myself and Carlos have are what makes good leaders, and to put these projects
Yeah.
together. Because money is one thing, but if you have the money and you don't have the ability
You have to be able to carry out the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next for the two of you? So we've got this movie. It's going to air at the Latino Film Festival. What are you working on next before we go?
Well, I actually, Albert is part of a short film trilogy. So I've got the next one, which is Lex, and then another one called Charlie, and they're all based off characters in the movie. I also wrote a feature-length script called The One Night Stand, which I'm getting into production later this year. So a lot of exciting things happening, and
Okay.
a lot of good people.
What about for you, Carlos?
Well, I'm actually writing my first novel, so it's called Bicentennial,
Okay.
and it's going to be an immigrant story.
All
So
right,
it's gonna be cool.
very good. You guys are very inspiring. Let's get the information once again on the screen. If you are interested in any of the movies that we've talked about here today, there's the information where you can go see them. 312-431-1330, Chicago Latino Film Festival.org for information on showing times. Thank you to the both of you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next on Adelante Chicago.